up YouTube, Hyper here, and today's video we're going to be looking at 3 really cool high ground retakes that you can use against your friends in build battles. Not only are these high ground retakes really flashy, but they are also really good on the defensive end at keeping yourself safe when taking high ground. Please leave a like on this video if you enjoy it, and don't forget to subscribe for more content. Also, I'm saving up for a PC, so I'll have a link to my PayPal where you can donate to me if you're feeling like it in the description below. Now without any further ado, let's get right into the video. So for this first high ground retake, we're going to build up 2. We're going to place a floor and a cone, double edit, jump up onto this. Now you've probably seen this before in other high ground retake things. And from here, what people will often do is they'll go through here, they'll edit like this, they'll do 90s, they'll do 180s, they'll do whatever they want. But this is a bit different. So instead of actually editing anything here, we're going to come to this area in here, and we're going to place 2 walls like this. This area won't matter because the direction that you're side jumping from, all you'll need to cover is here. You can cover here, but it will just slow you down. From here, you're going to want to edit these 3 like this. And then this next step is a bit difficult at first, but once you get the hang of it, it shouldn't be too hard. You're going to come right out to the edge here, and basically you're going to jump and side jump. Now what I did just there is actually not what you want. So you don't want to land underneath this ramp. You want to jump in a way where you land here. And when you do it successfully, you'll land right about here. So like a third up the way of your ramp. Now from this point, what you're going to want to do is you can do 2 things. You can place a cone like this if you want to be extra flashy. You know, go like this, place a cone, a floor, and a ramp, and you should be at the perfect height that if you jump, you'll land on this, and you can edit out, crank 90s, or do whatever. Or the more practical thing to do is do something like once you reach this point here, do either like a 180 degree turn, or just crank some 90s, because 90s are pretty efficient. But if you do a 180, then crank 2 90s, you should be perfectly in line to be here, and your opponents will be somewhere, most likely, down here. Now, onto why this high ground retake is so useful. So, say you start your build battle, you crank your 90s, and you get to a spot like this. In almost every build battle, you get into a spot like this. Your ramps meet up, and, you know, it's sort of like a battle of who can place their ramp over you first. So, what this high ground retake is good for is this meet up spot here. So what you're going to do is the same as before. You're going to go like this, go like into this spot here, and then you're going to build your box like this, edit out, and do the side jump. Now when you're the opponent, you're over here, you get to this point here, and when you make this move, your opponent's going to be here, and they're either going to run down this ramp and go, wait a second, what just happened? So they'll be confused and they'll be down here. Or another thing is they'll see you go off to the side and they'll do something like this, come here, they'll see you box up and they'll be a bit confused, so they'll go, oh, alright, let's go to break the box. As they go to break the box, as they're in this area here, what you're doing is basically you're going to be here, you side jump out, you're going to be side jumping up to this height here. Now when they're down here, they're trying to pickaxe your wall. Meanwhile, you've just done this crazy side jump, and you're now an entire story above them, almost 2 stories above them. From here, they will either be stuck in here and just get completely cucked, or they'll react quickly and they'll go to do some 90s. Alright? And when they go to do your 90s, you're already up to this point here, and normally, by the time they start their 90s, you've done a 180 or your own 90, and they'll be at this point here when you're here, and this basically means that you'll be 1 tile ahead of them every single time, assuming your 90s are about equal speed. So even if they go up 2, you'll still be 1 above them. Whoops. And you will have all the advantage in the world to shoot at them. So that's why this is so effective. And if we go back down here, and I just break some of this and redo this little thing, it's also really good because you're pretty much completely protected. Like, there's not much that you'd be able to do to stop this, unless the biggest cuck, of course, would be to place your own floor or your own cone there, but most people aren't going to do that, unless this trick becomes, you know, quite popular, and then people will definitely be cucking you with that, and you'll just side jump out here, get confused, and die. But, you know, for now, this is a pretty cool trick, and yeah, so on to the next one. On to the second high ground retake. So this one is bits of different retakes that I've put together and named the hyper retake. So this is how you do it. Build up, you place your floor and your cone, you double edit, you do this and jump onto here. And then from here, instead of going out the side like we were last time, we are going to go up here. We're going to come to here, and normally from here you'll see people do a full edit, but we're just going to come up here and do a half edit, if I can select. Then we're going to jump as we confirm this onto this. After we get to here, we're going to run up to the very tip of this, do a 180, place 2 walls, and then we're going to jump up and slightly forward and place a floor and a ramp. This will take some time to get used to, but once you nail this bit, the rest of the retake isn't that hard. So from here, you can basically do whatever you want. I normally do 1 reverse 90, build up, 2 normal 90s, or 3 normal 90s, just depending on where the player is. And then from this point, you can really just do whatever you want. Okay, now on to why this high ground retake is good. Compared to the one you just saw, and the one that you're going to see, this high ground retake is not that good on the defensive end. But it is very flashy, and if you pull it off in a creative clip, I reckon it would look pretty nice. But it does have some form of practical use, and that is when you're up here and you get into this point here. Normally, if we just go over here, a character standing here could not, no matter how hard they tried, jump onto a floor up here. Your character can only jump 2/3 high. But because if you look here, you're running up this ramp and you're jumping right when you're here, this is, so imagine we've got a wall here. This ramp is basically elevating you. That extra third that you need to make the jump, so that when you jump onto this and build up, you can actually jump that block height, which gets you, if you look down at this, quite high up in not very much time, because you're just going to quickly do this. And I'm not the best at this this little jump thing here, but I'm practicing it because it is really cool. If you can pull that off, like, it gets you a lot of height pretty quickly, and then when you land on that, doing 390s off of that, that's a lot of height very quickly. So that's why this retake is so good. Okay, so for this last retake, I don't really know if you call it a retake, but it is a very good tip, so I'll throw it in here. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to build up, you're going to place your cone, edit the cone like this, and look up really high, jump, place that cone. As you jump, you're going to do a side jump, basically placing all of these builds. And if you do it full speed, you should place this wall as well. It's just very hard to do this trick in slow motion. And you'll land on this ramp, you'll run up, you can come around here, and your opponent will be in this box, ready to shoot. Okay, so onto why this high ground retake is so good. Basically, when you get to this meetup point here, honestly, the last thing your opponent is expecting is to have you build their ramp for them. So they're going to be like this, going, I can get the ramp up. But what you're doing is you're going, sure, you can have the ramp, but you're building it for them, so it's yours. They're going to be running up here. All of a sudden, there's a ramp being made for them. They'll have a cone above their head. They'll get confused and go for a side jump, but you will have already side jumped and boxed them in. So they'll be going for a side jump. At this point, they'll be completely confused, and you'll be right here with a shotgun to their face, one pumping them. It's also important that you get that cone, because if they're ramping up and they get this above you, even if you cone them and side jump, right, and box them in like this, if you go to edit this, they can easily drop out the bottom or drop out the, go out the front. So it is important that you get that cone off first, and if you don't get the cone off, just don't try the trick. Just try it a different time at a different meetup point, because you don't want to give it away, because once you do it once or twice, they start to catch on. But, you know, if it's just one of your new buddies or somebody who doesn't, you know, you don't play against much, or you haven't tried this trick before, then I would definitely recommend it. It will completely confuse them. You can even do some trap kills with it. If you go like this and get them like this, jump up into the box is something else you could do, and then place traps, you know, edit this cone, shoot them, and everything's yours and they die. And that's why this trick is so useful. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment saying what you'd like to see next from me in my YouTube videos. I have a locker showcase coming next week, so stay tuned for that. But aside from that, I don't really have anything planned in particular. So yeah, let me know down below what you'd like. Also, check out the Instagram. I post daily on that. I've actually been posting like 4 posts a day recently. So if you want to see my everyday clips, just go to that. I'll leave a link to it in the description below like usual. Also, if you'd like to support me a little bit more, you can go to the item shop, press support a creator, and type code HYPYA, Hypia. It helps me out a lot. I'm at, I think, 30 or 40 support a creator users, so I really appreciate all of you. And if you're wondering why my name is different, don't worry, I still have my Ghoul Trooper, I still have all my skins. This is just one of my alt accounts. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.